Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Today we're going to be talking about these prophecies from Dana Coverstone. Now, if you ever decide to start your own radio program, don't do what I'm about to do. This does not build a big audience for you. But I'm going to share my heart for just a second. That is, this stuff from Dana Coverstone has really upset me. I can feel in my heart there's a big cry coming. Crying for my nation. I can tell it in my heart. If I can get through this broadcast without being emotional, I will do good. But, I'm a pretty hard-hearted guy, pretty thick-skinned. God made me that way so that I could do what I do, so I can bring people a hard message, so I can look into their eyes and tell them the truth. And believe me, that is not easy to do. And I'm even going to say that most people can't do that. It's difficult. But I'm also going to say I believe that you folks out there listening right now stand in the very best position to be blessed beyond what you could possibly imagine. I'm talking about being blessed eternally, because I believe God is about to use you in ways that you never thought possible. This crusade we have coming up, I just was told we only have 5 spots left. And probably me just saying that right now those 5 spots are going to be gone in the next few days. I don't like limiting it. This is the Dallas County and this is Hyatt following their rules. We don't have a choice on it. But anyway, there's 5 more spots. But I think God won't tell me what I want to know, but I think what I'm picking up in my prayer closet, I think that this crusade is going to be very, very powerful. I know that it is very important that this crusade goes on, and I believe God has handpicked the ones that are supposed to be there because He's about to bless them very big, very powerful. Also, I need to give you a little update on the spots, because we have got to get those spots running on secular, mostly TV stations. So we had the devil of the time. I think that's probably the best way to say it. Devil of a time, getting the raw footage over to the station that is going to make the spots. Also, my son, Sean, that also can edit them, is in the process. So we have 2 people, my son, Sean, and then the TV station up in Grand Rapids that is working on editing them. I hope and I pray that we get them this week. We are running out of time, my brothers and sisters. We've got to get those running. I believe these spots are going to be the thing that shocks America and gets them informed enough about what is going on so that we can fill sports stadiums. It is crucial. It is, oh my goodness, it is so important. Now, I've said my agent is asking for a $75,000 budget. Well, the truth is it's probably in the ballpark of $10 million to reach this nation. But at least if we can get 10,000, I'm asking right now for 10,000 more. Yes, I know many of you have sent wonderful donations. Thank you. God bless you. And believe me, God is going to bless you. But right now we need a bit more to have the budget we need. Look, we don't want the TV station laughing at us because we don't have enough money to pay them to run these spots. We need some serious money. Our nation is running out of time. As you know, this internal revolution just may have started on 6/6/2020, but if it didn't start then, based upon what Dana Coverstone was told, it's going to start in November. Now, let's get on to what I want to talk about there. I have compiled from a couple of different interviews what he did for us and what he's done for other people, and I've typed it up so that it reads good in radio. But I want to talk about this. Let's go through and let's look at what he's saying, because what he's saying is really, really important. Okay, so let's go to the first one. Now, this was given to him. This is actually the second dream. I'm going to start with the second dream. This was given to him June 22 of 2020, but I have added additions that he gave to the Prophecy Club, because he said part of it here and part of it there, so we're going to kind of condense it together to give us a whole picture. So he says, I had another dream. I saw a calendar. The calendar came up and a white figure appeared. To me, it was representing God or the Holy Spirit, something pure, righteous, something true, something holy, because there was nothing sinister about it, nothing evil. I heard the voice say, part two, part two. Now, in that he said it twice, again, in the mouth of two or three witnesses, let a thing be established. He goes on to say, I saw June on the calendar. Then I saw July and August, then September. I saw the figure underneath the word September, underlining it, emphasizing it, and then it tapped the calendar 3 times. I believe that that's saying in the mouth of one, in the mouth of two, in the mouth of 3 witnesses. I believe that that's probably an angel trying to confirm to us that we can count on it. And by the time I get through this, you will count on it. The next thing, he went into talking about the internal revolution. At least that's what I believe it is. He said, then I saw October come up. Then I saw November. This is when it got really intense. The finger underlined November 3 times, but instead of tapping it, I saw a fist ball up and hit the calendar. The calendar exploded against the wall. The numbers seemed to be 3D, flying all over, every place. Then, now listen carefully, visions started. I saw even more intense chaos than I saw in the first dream. I saw armed protesters. Well, I saw yesterday. I went on HalTurnerRadioshow.com, as I do frequently, and he's got a videotape up, and this is, a home iPhone video, and there's probably, I could say 500, maybe 1,000 protesters walking down the street. Almost every one of them have guns. If there's not a gun on their waist, there's a gun slung around their shoulder, or there's a gun in their hand. And we're talking about long guns. We're talking about AR-15s. It's up there. Go up, check it out, watch it. So that part of this has already been fulfilled. Would you have ever thought that we would actually see armed protesters? They keep saying, oh, they're just peaceful protesters. Well, look, when they show up with arms, that's not peace. Okay, they didn't come peaceful. Let's go on. I saw fighting in the streets. Okay, well, what did Dmitri say? The angel told him the fall of America would start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. Here it is. Some of the people would start fighting against the government. You and I both know that is just around the corner. I saw fighting in the streets. I saw people pummeling one another. I heard gunfire, constant gunfire. I saw people hiding in their homes with the lights out, with a gun in their hand, and looking back to check on their families. Would you like me to read that again? Because I think, brothers and sisters, it's hard. Like I said, I got a big cry coming. I have wept for my nation many times, and I can feel this one coming on, and it's been coming on for a couple of days. There's a time I got to just get away. I just got to get away and cry for my nation again. I do not want to see this trouble come. I do not want to see it come. I'm doing everything I can to possibly stop it, to warn the people, but they just won't listen. We'll get to that too. I saw fighting in the streets, people pummeling one another. I heard gunfire, constant gunfire. I saw people hiding in their homes with the lights out, with a gun in their hand, looking back to check on their families. We just went through the 4th of July, and I know that you had the same thing happen to you that I did. As we're hearing those fireworks going off, and we're hearing people out there having a good time and celebrating the 4th of July like we have for the last, in my case, 40 or 50 years. Only this time, that kept ringing back in me what he had said. I heard gunfire, constant gunfire. I've never heard constant gunfire in my nation. Matter of fact, as I think about it, I don't think I've ever even heard a gunshot in a neighborhood. I mean, unless it was on some shooting place or something like that. But here we are. Gunfire, constant gunfire, he says, is coming. Then he goes to talk about schools and banks. He says, I saw businesses shuttered and closed up. Now, think about that. And we keep saying this. I've never seen this in my lifetime. I never thought I would begin to see this. I never thought, I can't believe this is happening. Those kind of phrases we're hearing coming out of our mouth and the people around us. I saw businesses shuttered and closed up. We're not talking about a hurricane coming. We're talking about many of them in many cities. What do they say? 75 different cities at once is burning and looting. I saw schools closed. Now, right now, everybody is thinking, oh, yeah, well, the school's going to open up come August and September like normal. Well, according to this, it ain't going to happen. Now, I believe this. I think he's right. I saw schools closed. I saw school rooms with cobwebs hanging in them. In other words, it's not happening anytime soon. As a matter of fact, it might be that college is over in America. It's done. There will not be any more organized schooling, because if this happens the way the prophets are saying, it sounds to me like 2020 is the year judgment hits. At this point, nobody is going to disagree. It sounds to me like this, probably, as Terry Bennett was told, probably 2021 is the year that the Russians attack. That's not me saying it. I'm not setting any dates. If God tells me, I'll tell you. But right now, I can't say that. He hadn't told me. But based upon me observing, and just like you've been observing, I would say, yep, 2020 judgment has hit. Shane Warren was correct. That's what I'd say at this point. So then you got to say, well, what about Terry Bennett? Russians going to attack in 2021, and the internal revolution start in 2021, and the tribulation start in 2022, and Jesus return in 2028. I can't say sure. I can't say yes, but I can certainly say, based upon, just like you can, based upon what we see right now, it looks very possible. On to this. I saw schoolrooms with cobwebs hanging in them. There were things like papers falling off the wall along the posters. I felt like no one had been in these schools for months. I saw bank buildings with the roofs being taken off. It looked almost like an alien abduction, because money was just flying out through the roof into something like a vacuum cleaner. I saw wealth being taken away. Okay, well, what has Shane Warren said? Dollar bills blowing in the wind, worthless as leaves. And what have some of the other people said? Same thing. I've had a dream of our banking system falling apart. I could take a whole broadcast on just that, but let's go on. Vacuum cleaner. I saw wealth being taken away. I saw politicians in back rooms making deals with people, patting each other on the back and laughing and smiling and smirking. Well, those are the communists. Those are the people that causes all of this, that brings all of this. Now, he goes to talking about government. I saw monuments, and boy, I wished he had finished that sentence, but that's a half sentence there. I think he was about to say being pulled down, but he didn't say that. I saw monuments. I saw Washington, D.C. burning, set ablaze. I saw capitals surrounded. I saw state houses and state capitals surrounded with the people screaming, making outrageous demands. Would you like me to read that again? Is that not about to happen? Can we not see that happening here in just any day now? I saw that all the curtains were pulled in the Oval Office and the White House. What did Sundar Salvarez say? He says that if Trump is removed from office, then our captivity will arrive. It's hard to even say that. Then our captivity will arrive. I saw all the curtains pulled in the Oval Office and the White House. I saw nobody moving around. I was shown inside the actual Oval Office, and I saw no one in that office. No one was seated in the seat. There was no cabinet members, no secretary, no one in the Oval Office. I saw a long conference table, and I saw senators, but I did not see Congress. I saw members of the Senate. I recognized the faces, and we'd even know the names. I saw them sitting in a room, and they were very peaceful. There was no rush or panic. Even though outside the windows of that room, I could see that there were fires burning. There was chaos outside, but inside, these men were very, very resolute. They were very, very patient, and they were looking at their watches, but they were in no hurry. Now, hang on to that. I think the solution comes with the next scene. He says, I saw briefcases. Now, in our day, briefcases are pretty much a thing of the past, but I saw piles, stacks and stacks and piles of briefcases on this long conference table where these men were talking. I saw the former senator of Dakota handing folders sealed with a clasp. I'll read that again. Listen carefully. That's a key. I saw the former senator from Dakota handing folders sealed. Handing folders sealed. I'll say it again. Handing folders sealed with a clasp. He was pushing these file folders to different senators. They were putting the sealed papers, are you getting it yet? They were putting the sealed papers in those briefcases and then locking them. Again, they were very resolute, but not in a hurry to get anywhere. Now, what is the sealed papers in sealed briefcases? Stacks and stacks and piles of them. Well, truth is, I don't know. And probably Dana doesn't know either. But I got a guess, and I think you got a guess. I suspect that those are those sealed indictments. That is the real reason all of this is coming up, because this is the horde of evil that has been controlling the world for over 300 years, probably actually, if we go back really 6,000 years since Adam. And they are being taken down. But the problem is America is not clean enough to come against them. See, because for us to attack someone that's doing wrong, we first have to be clean. First, we have to get the log out of our eye before we can turn and help the other person to get the splinter out of theirs. And that's the point, is America is not clean enough. Jeremiah 51, verse 9, we would have healed Babylon or America, but she is not healed. In other words, what it's saying is these 176,436 sealed indictments, matter of fact, I've been praying. For the first time, I've been praying and asking for justice and judgment to come to our land. I don't want to see our nation fall, but more than that, I want to see justice and judgment. I want to see these evil people around the globe taken out. At least give us some kind of hope to survive in the days ahead of the tribulation. That's kind of what I've been praying. And I never prayed that way. I always pray, Lord, soften or delay the judgment. It's hard for me to pray that way. I don't want to see the trouble come. I want to see us given more time. But at the same time, I want to see these 176,436 indictments sealed be unsealed. I want to see the people arrested. I want to see justice served. Now, let's go to the last paragraph. Then he goes to talking about roundups. Now, I remember back in the Y2K days, there was a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, well, the red and blue roundup list and all this. Well, this is, when it starts coming from a pastor like this, you better listen. He says, I saw fires everywhere. I saw people being rounded up. I saw Chinese and Russian soldiers on the ground. Now, I can't explain that. That's something that everything else sounds right, but I don't know the scenario how that can happen. So that's just all I'm going to say on that. I can't explain. But he said, and I emailed him, and I said, are you certain that they were Chinese? Could they have been North Koreans or just Asians? He said, no, I'm certain. They were Chinese. Chinese and Russian soldiers? What? Okay, let's go on. I saw fires everywhere. I saw people being rounded up, and I saw Chinese and Russian soldiers on the ground. Russian soldiers were telling the Chinese soldiers to go here, to go there, to pick up these people, round up these people, secure this quadrant, secure this area. I saw blue helmets of the UN. I saw military things taking place. I also saw no sign of President Trump. I saw no sign of leadership in the Washington, D.C. area at all. Then the vultures that I had seen before were now like gargoyles. I think he's trying to say much larger, much more powerful. Now, I think what he's saying here is that there is a demonic attack on our nation, perhaps like there never has been before. And they were 10 feet off the ground, 10 to 15 feet off the ground, and they were just attacking people mercilessly. I saw people hiding in their homes and garage. I saw churches being burned. I saw homes being burned. I saw absolute chaos. The fist punch on the November calendar of 2020 is what got my attention. Then I heard the words again, brace yourself, brace yourself, brace yourself. Now, as I look at the time here, I don't think I can get through this next thing because it's a long one and it's really important. I don't want to have to get in the middle of it and have to cut it off. So I'm going to skip that. We'll talk about that one tomorrow. But it's another one of the dreams from Dana Coverstone. By the way, uh, this guy's got over 1 million views in 1 week. That is awesome. Thank you, Lord, for helping that many people to see this. Too bad he's a pre-tribber, but like I said to Leslie the other day, it's okay. He hadn't got my book yet. But when he gets my book, this is a brother that speaks truth, and he'll see. God will open his eyes. I mean, I was there as a pre-tribber once myself. Okay, so anyway, let's go to April 18th, 2002. Leslie had a dream, and oh boy, does it speak to what's going on now. She said, Stan, myself, and many other people were on a cruise ship. We were headed out to sea. The sky was blue and beautiful and the water calm. The people around us were enjoying themselves, unaware of coming danger. But way out ahead, on the horizon, Stan and I could see a terrible storm brewing. The sky was getting darker and the sea was rougher. We saw what looked to be like a huge tornado or like some kind of storm on the ocean. In the ocean headed, and it was headed right towards the ship. Stan kept telling the captain, turn the ship around, turn the ship around. He told him we're heading toward a terrible storm, but neither the captain nor the people would listen. Sound familiar now? We could see the huge waves and the tornado getting closer, but everyone was ignoring Stan's warning. Stan finally yelled at the captain, wake up! We're heading for trouble. Finally, the captain listened and began to slowly turn the ship, but too late. By this time, the waves were coming upon the ship and the hurricane was about to hit the ship. It was almost too late. The ship began to tip over. I feared it was about to capsize, then I woke up. Well, obviously, the ship represents the American church. The people of the church have been playing and having a good time and believing in a pre-trib rapture, unwilling to hear the truth and unwilling to hear about the last days and stop sinning and all of that. But God has placed Stan at the head of the Prophecy Club, a nationwide watchman ministry. The captain represents the church leadership and the people on the ship. Stan was doing everything possible to warn the captain and the church, but they would not listen. It was not until the church leadership could no longer ignore the danger that they finally listened to Stan. But it was too late. Could not get them to respond, could not turn the ship fast enough to avoid the trouble. It reminds me of an old saying that was written in a newspaper right after World War II. They came for the communists, and I didn't object, for I wasn't a communist. They came for the socialists, but I didn't object because I wasn't a socialist. They came for the labor leaders, but again, I didn't object because I wasn't a labor leader. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't object because I wasn't a Jew. But then, finally, they came for me, and there was no one left to object. That was by Martin Niemöller, a German Protestant pastor, 1892 to 1984. Meaning, if we don't stand for something, we're going to fall for anything. Meaning, I think our nation is in judgment, is in the process of falling, just like Dmitri was told. Now, what do? We can bite our fingernails, we can pray, we can fast. We certainly need to do the pray and fast. Brothers and sisters, if you really want to help, then what we need is to band together. Put our prayers, yes, our fasts, yes, and also our finances together. If God has blessed you, if you can help me, if you have ever helped a ministry, now's the time to help me to get this word out. Not to just the people that are looking for it, that will come to our internet site or to the YouTube or to go hear David Coverstone, but to the people that don't know, that aren't looking. They're the ones that, if they heard, they would respond. How many times have you seen people now that are starting to listen? I mean, one of the congregation members in our church drives Uber, and he says, you know what? Ever since this COVID, man, people like been getting in my Uber and been saying, man, people asking me, what's going on? What's going on? I mean, is this the end of the world? Well, actually, it's not the end of the world, but it's pretty close. We only have a few more years. So I'm asking you, if God has blessed you, if it's not going to kill you, if it's not going to hurt you, if you could help us with your very best donation, I need, I'll tell you, I need at least $10,000 to get this thing started. My agent's already got 2 different TV stations he can put it on. Now, what I think, by the way, if you'll go to our website, prophecyclub.com, you'll see the website has been updated, but it still needs some more changes. We're working on that. If we can get these spots running and send people to the website, and we can offer them these 5 books, because I've now got this new book on the pre-trib, how pre-trib won. We can offer them 5 books, and I think it is going to start shaking a lot of people, because at this point our nation is gone. Okay, we can't possibly pass legislation to get prayer back in schools, to get the King James Bible back in schools. Our nation's gone. It was gone 40 years ago when God spoke to Dimitri. That's why he spoke judgment. As soon as he spoke that judgment, it was over. But what we can do is be a part of the Great Awakening, the part of the greatest revival in human history. Jeremiah 16:19 through 21. O Lord, my strength and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, Surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit, and have made unto themselves gods that are not gods. Therefore, this once I will cause them to know. I will cause them to know my hand and my might, and they shall know that my name is Jehovah. That, my friends, is a global revival. And I believe that God has positioned Prophecy Club and the people who listen and support it to be in a position to possibly be a part of the first wave of those 7-fold miracles. Again, we've got a 7-fold miracle crusade coming up. Only got 5 spots left. When's the last time you've been in a group of people that believe in Dimitri Duduman's message, all of them, that are all filled with the Spirit, saved, baptized in the Holy Spirit, water baptized, and have just gone through 3 days of fasting? When's the last time you've been in a group of people like that, who are gathered specifically praying and asking for 7-fold miracles? Now, I can't guarantee they're going to show up, but I believe if they're going to show up, and if they're going to start this year, we probably have the highest probability of them starting there. So if you want one of those last 5 spots, you got to go to 7foldmiraclecrusades.com. The only 5 spots are to the Crusade B, August 2 to 6. 7foldmiraclecrusades.com. And if God has blessed you, if you can help us with this at least $10,000 budget to get these TV commercials running, man, I think they'll work. I think they will shock people. I think our website is going to be covered up with orders, with people going to it. I think it's going to shock and shake America, and that's a good thing. So if you want to be part of that, pray and see if God will help you. If you say, Lord, I want to give, He'll help you to give. He will help you to give. Be a giver. In 2017, I memorized the book of Revelation. I was shown a secret door linking the feasts to the prophecies of Revelation. For the first time, the book of Revelation can be put in correct chronological order. You can understand Bible prophecy. 1 for 20, 5 for 30, 10 for 55. What is the most important information to every beating heart on the globe? After accept Jesus, it would be, don't take the mark of the beast. Those taking the mark of the beast do not get soul death, but are tormented in the lake of fire and brimstone for eternity. How do you tell them? Give them, miss the mark. 1 for 20, 10 for 30, 20 for 40. Over the past 32 years, I've collected the best 101 prophecies from Dimitri Duduman, Michael Boldea, Leslie Johnson, Henry Gruver, Shane Warren, Terry Bennett, Marie Sklar, Augusto Perez, Doug Metzger, and more. It's called God's Warnings for America. 1 for 20, 5 for 30, 10 for 55. My new book is called Tribulation Secrets in Daniel because that's what it does. It shows you the part of Daniel you need to know, being you're about to be a tribulation saint, and will desperately need to know and understand about the last days you live in. 1 for 20, 10 for 30, 20 for 40 at prophecyclub.com. prophecyclub.com.